Hello, folks. Got a question for you. Who are you most loyal to? Some of you may answer and say that you're loyal to a spouse. Some of you may be loyal to a spouse. You may be loyal to a friend or even a job or a company. Another question, how much do you value your life or the life of others? What would you do for someone you love? What would you do? Would you do everything they want you to do? If you love this person, if you know they love you, if you think they do, would you do everything they ask you or want you to do? Now think about this. How much do you think the other person, someone you love, and shown so much loyalty to, and how much do you think they love you? How much do you think this person you're showing your loyalty to and pledging your allegiance to is showing you? How much do they love you? Would they look out for you? Do they truly care about you and your well-being? Well, if you found out, what if you found out that that person was secretly trying to hurt you or your loved ones? What if you find out that this person you thought loved you, they cared about you, you found out all of a sudden they were plotting or secretly trying to hurt you and your loved ones? If you have kids or anything like that, what would you do? Would you now have doubts about them? Would you now have doubts about them? If that's the case, then maybe you ought to cut them off, let them go out of your life and cut them off out of your life. If you truly value your life, I would. You should maybe distance yourself from that person, maybe cut that person off and have nothing to do with them. So I'm sure many of you have been hurt by someone you thought loved you. Many of us have, many of you have. With that being said, why do many people knowingly choose to serve and follow Satan? Because that's kind of the same thing. You're choosing to follow Satan. Satan is destroyer. He's the enemy, and people knowingly choose to serve and follow him, knowing that these are maybe being deceived or blind to the fact that he's going to hurt them. He's trying to lead them away from God to destroy them. Why do many people reject God and their Christian upbringing? Why do they do that? Is it because of freedom? Is it because of money or fame or something else? We know that God is love. We're told in the Bible God is love and that he looks out for our well-being. Satan, on the other hand, cares nothing for you. He cares nothing about you or anyone else that claims to serve him. If you serve him, he's going to destroy you. If you love him, he's going to destroy you. He cares nothing for you. He's using you or whoever, everybody that's claiming to serve him, he's using them to promote ungodly things, maybe in movies or stuff like that, etc. Using them to indoctrinate children, maybe to a certain, ungodly lifestyle, certain things they shouldn't be doing. Once again, but Satan cares. That's the thing. That's just the thing. He's using those people, using who he can and what he can to anything he can do to lead people away from God, away from the source of life. All Satan wants to do, all he wants to do is destroy you. He wants to destroy. He is just like someone, like a hater, so to speak. Let's think of him as a hater or someone who's down and have nothing and they're going nowhere, but they want to drag you down with them. Think of it as that. Let's think of Satan as this person that hates on people. He's a hater. He's jealous. He's not going nowhere. He's down. He has nothing, and he just want to drag you down with him and others. Satan knows that he's doomed, so he is seeking to take as many down with him as possible. Whether you are loyal to him, love him, or worship him, he does not care, once again, about you or anyone. He doesn't care about your loyalty. He doesn't care about your friendship. He don't care that you worship him. He's glad that you do, because as long as you're not worshiping God, he don't care what or who you worship. Honestly, as long as you are worshiping God, he can take you down with him, take you down to destruction, the way he's going, because he's going to death ultimately, to total eternal death. So would. I don't think none of you would willingly, knowingly be loyal to someone that's trying to kill you and trying to kill you or your loved ones. Would you be loyal to someone that's continue to be loyal to a person or anyone that's trying to knowingly kill you and your loved ones, children, or if you have kids or anything like that? Would you love someone that's trying to hurt your kids? Would you love someone that's trying to hurt you or any of your loved ones? Would you still love them or be loyal to them? So why wouldn't anybody serve and pledge their allegiance to Satan? Because that's exactly what he's trying to do. He's trying to kill and destroy you and your loved ones and your children and everyone else any way he can. So by leading them away from God, because leading away from God, God is the source of life. You lead away from God. If he could lead you or your children or your loved ones, anybody away from God, then automatically it's death. Because those who don't serve God will ultimately join Satan in his fate, which will be death, eternal death. Some of you even say that, okay, well, I don't serve God or Satan, I serve myself. But according to Jesus, if you are not with him, you are against him, which means by default, you are serving Satan and you are choosing death. If you just not going to serve God or I'm not serving either one, I'm not serving God or Satan, but, serve myself, you by default still choose death. You still share Satan's faith. You following Satan, or you not necessarily follow him per se. If you just follow your own desire, then you still choose death. Consider this. Let's say God is like life support and Satan is death. Let's say God represents life support, Satan represents death. Satan represents death. Would you willingly cut off your life support? Would you willingly cut off your life support or the life support of your loved ones, knowing the end result? Knowing the end result will be death. Would you cut off your life support knowing that the end result will be death, knowing you will die if you do so? God is the source of all life, and he tells us not to do certain things because he knows that those things will hurt us. That's what the Ten Commandments are there for. They're there as a guideline. They're there as a guide on how to live life, and how to love one another, how to treat one another, how to love. If we choose not to obey those commandments, we are cutting off God. In this case, God is our life support. We are cutting off that life support, which is God in this case, and we're choosing Satan. We're choosing the ways of Satan, which will be death. The commandments are not there to restrict, and I want everybody to really listen to this. The commandments are not there to restrict our freedom or to ruin our fun. The commandments do not ruin our fun. They do not restrict our freedom. They are there to protect our freedom and us from harm, doing harm to one another, and from others doing harm to us. That's why we have those commandments. I don't think nobody considers fun to have to be killed or to see watch somebody get killed, especially a loved one or anything like that. It's not fun to consider, to watch or see anybody be killed or murdered or see, babies dying and all this tragedy going on in the world. I don't think that's considered fun or, freedom restriction and everything, just free to kill or have their stuff, stolen or anything like that. Would you consider that fun to be killed, taken advantage of, and losing jobs or whatever the case may be, or somebody doing you harm, any kind of harm whatsoever? So once again, that's why I say and I emphasize that the commandments are there as protection of our freedom and our and from us from harm. Don't you want to live? Do you not want to live? Do you want to live? Do you want to live for eternity? Do you want to live forever? How much can you learn in just 70 years of life compared to an eternity of life? How much can you learn? How much can one learn in 70 years of life? Because that's typically how long we have 70 years. Someone will live or longer, but it doesn't matter. It's still a short time compared to eternity. How much can they learn in a whole life, whether they live to be 70 or 80 or 100? How much can they learn at that time compared to eternity? How much can they learn in eternity? Jesus died and did what he did so that we can live. So please, we can live for eternity. So that I emphasize, so please choose God, accept Jesus, turn away from sin, selfishness, because why would you want to perish? Why would anybody want to perish? It's just like committing suicide. Life is so precious and so precious, and so it's a gift from God. Life is a gift, and very precious. And to turn from God and to choose our own way is cutting off that life support. God in this case, that life support being God in this case, we cutting off the life support once again, which means we commit suicide, we take our own life, spiritually speaking. Some people take it physically and both spiritually, but it's just like spiritual suicide basically. If we turn away from God, we commit suicide, we choose death. Everybody wants to live, I'm sure, but some you may say that, okay, I'm not religious. Well, if you're not religious, then that that might be okay, but then again, not okay, because you know even if you're not religious and everything, I'm sure you wouldn't want to live in a world where there's always crime and murder and watching people get killed, watching children get killed, children being slaughtered, and all this crime and war, this and everything else is going on. These weather calamities and all this stuff that's going on. I'm sure even non-religious people want something better, a better world. Well, that's what Jesus promised. God promises a better world. He promises a new, better world to come. That's going to come. He's promising to restore all things. He's going to destroy and get rid of all sin, all these bad things. He's going to, as his plan. That's part of the plan of salvation. That soon, when he returns, all around will be set right, and the world's going to be restored as was in the beginning. Because this wasn't so in the beginning. In the beginning, everything was good, as God had said. Everything was good, good, and very good, according to Genesis, the first chapter of Genesis. This is the world was perfect and everything else. So, but as far as life and everything, once again, there's a gift. It's spiritual suicide to knowingly turn from God and turn to our own way and everything. Because if you have children, which I'm sure even if you wouldn't like it, if your children try to hurt themselves and try to take their own life, that would hurt you. Um, I'm sure that would hurt any parent or anyone if they watch their child, suffer or hurt themselves ultimately. To see your child hurt themselves would hurt you. That would have an effect on you. That because you love your children. Those who have children, you love your children. You don't want your children to hurt themselves or anything happen to them. So how do you think God feels about us? God made us. We're His creation. He made us. He loves us, and He's loyal to us. So what do we think we're doing to God every time we turn away and choose to turn away from Him? Then we're hurting ourselves ultimately. For every decision we make to serve ourselves and turn from God, turn away from God and serve ourselves or choose to serve Satan, sell our soul, so to speak, to Satan and pledge our allegiance to him, sell our soul, sell it to him. That's hurting God. We're hurting ourselves ultimately because we know the end result. He knows the end result is going to be death. And that death is eternal death. There's no coming back from that. You go down and die the second death. That's it for you. There's no resurrection. There's no hope. No nothing. You just have a hopeless life. You hopeless. There is no eternity for you. No eternal death. You have no hope. No future. So how do you think God feels about that? Even if they want to all take their own life physically. So every decision we make to serve ourselves and go against God and rebel against God or anything like that, just flat out rebel against Him. Every decision we make to rebel and choose to go our own way, follow Satan, sell our souls to Satan, that's hurting Him. That's hurting God because we're hurting ourselves ultimately. We're not actually we're hurting God to see for God to see us do that, but ultimately we're hurting ourselves. So we are hurting ourselves more than anything else. And I'm sure any of you who have children wouldn't want to see your children do the same to hurt you or hurt themselves because that'll hurt you, that'll have an effect on you and everything. And you wouldn't want your children to do anything like that to themselves, to hurt themselves. You wouldn't want that. So please turn to God. Once again, turn from sin, repent, turn to Jesus, and accept His gift and live forever. Because why will you die? Please repent. Please turn to God. I'll talk to you next time. God bless.